What's up, guys? Thank you all so much for coming back to my channel. As you may have seen by the title, today's video is going to be me talking about the time an officer threatened me. So this was way back in the summer of 2016. I had gotten a summer job, and all the job is you just basically take care of kids. It was like a little daycare, but it was only like 4 hours, like in the morning. And you just take care of all these kids. You take them to the park, you take them to go swimming, and you have a bunch of fun with them for the summer. We have a different thing to do each day, and that day we were gonna go to the lake. This lake is only a few minutes away from my town, so we all just drove there. We have kind of like a company van, I guess you could say. The place that employs us, they give us a van to take the kids around and, so on and so forth. We rounded all the kids up, we got them in this one van, and then it was my supervisor and another worker in that van, and then me and 4 other of my coworkers in my car. We headed out there, and I didn't exactly know where this lake was. I had never been there. It was my first time. My supervisor was driving in front of me in the van, and he was, leading the way. And finally, when we got on the road that leads you straight to the lake, he kind of sped up a little bit, went way ahead of me. So we were just chilling, just driving through wherever the heck we were driving to get to this lake. And on the side of the road, just stopped on the side of the road. So we're like, what is going on? Like, what just happened? So we pull over, and he's like, I don't know what happened, it started to stop, it turned off, and I pulled off to the side, like, I don't know what's wrong with it. He's like, I have to call somebody so they can come and, fix it or bring me another van. So we're like, okay, well, what do you want us to do? He had made me assistant supervisor. So he was a supervisor, I was assistant supervisor. I did not ask to be assistant supervisor, but he made me assistant supervisor, so I just went with it. So he's like, okay, why don't you go and take them, meaning my coworkers, why don't you go take them down to the lake, drop them off, take everything out, start setting everything up, and then you come back up here and start getting kids. I was like, okay. So I drive, and it's maybe like 10 to 15 minutes down the road to where the van was stopped to get to the lake. I get there, I drop them off, we take everything out of the car, they start setting everything up. I drive back, and I make it back, and I pick up the first batch of kids. So I get those kids, and I go drop them off, come back, and this happens like 2 times, I think. Honestly, I don't remember. On the 3rd time, I come back up, and I get the last batch of kids. Now, it's more kids than what fits in my car. So I put everybody in, and everybody is lapping over each other, and I'm trying to rush so we get to the lake and we don't waste any more time, because we only have a certain time to be there, and then we have to go back and take the kids back to their parents. I get them, and I'm going back, and I'm driving the speed limit. I'm not going too fast. I'm not freaking Fast and the Furious over here. So we're going, and I saw him. Okay, this is the part that just makes me so pissed off. I saw him in my rearview mirror. And I don't know, I guess I just had so many things going through my head, like I had to get these kids fast, that I completely forgot that this guy was behind me, because I saw him from the rearview mirror. Okay, the police cars that have the big old bumpers in the front, and you can see the lights on the top of the cars. He was in a truck, and I saw the bumper. And I was like, this guy is a park ranger. Like, I better not do something stupid. I better hope that this guy doesn't pull me over, because I have all these kids in my car. So I'm trying to stay calm, and I guess I just forget. I guess I just totally forget that a park ranger is driving right behind me. So I go and I drive into the park where the lake is. There's a stop sign just a few feet away from the entrance, and you have to stop and get a parking pass or some shit. Now, let's go back to when I said I had never been there. So I did not know that I had to stop. My coworkers had said, oh, we don't even need a parking pass, just go, You don't even need a parking pass. So I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I don't need one. So let's just go. Let's hurry and get these kids to the lake so they can have a good time. So I run the stop sign. I'm not going fast. I yield, okay? I was going to stop, but I just kept going. And I go, and he turns his lights on. And I'm like, oh no, I'm getting pulled over right now. So I look in my rear view, and I know that this guy is right behind me. Like, I knew it. I saw it in my head. I saw him. I don't know what happened. I forgot that he was a park ranger. I forgot that he was behind me. Before I know it, I look in my mirror and he has his lights on. And I'm like, oh no. First, I ran the stop sign. Then I have all of these kids in the car. I don't know what to do. Like, I am freaking out. I pull over, and you know, he comes to me, and I'm telling the kids, I'm like, I need you guys to like be quiet, just don't say anything, just, you know, just stay calm. It was a bad idea to tell them to stay calm because I wasn't even calm. So I'm just like, okay, everybody, just, you know, just be quiet. It's cool. It's fine. Just be quiet. So he comes to my door, like police, park rangers, whatever they do. I roll down my window, and he is like, do you know why I pulled you over? And you can tell this guy has an attitude. And I'm like, I don't have time to deal with this right now. And I'm like, no, I don't know why. And he's like, did you see that stop sign back there? And I was like, no. And he's like, oh, well, there was a stop sign back there. And if you would have stopped, you would have known to pull over and get a parking pass. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't know there was a stop sign. And he is like, give me your license and registration and all that shit. I give him my license and registration, and he sees the two kids that I have in the passenger seat, because a kid was sitting on the other kid's lap in the front seat, and he is like, how old is that child? And I was like, and he's like, why is that other child not in a car seat? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, how many kids do you have in this car? And I was like, I had to count them. I was like, I have 1, 2, I have like 6. And he's like, 6? I had 6 or 7 in the car. And he's like, what? Like, why do you have so many kids in the car? And I was like, sir, you know, I work for this program called Fun in the Sun. I work for this program called Fun in the Sun, and what we do is we just we take care of kids, and we take them to a bunch of places, and right now we're just trying to go to the lake. And he is like, I have never heard of that. And he's like, where are you from? And I tell him, you know, my town. And I tell him like the place that we work at, the place that sets all this up. And he's like, nope, never heard of it. And I'm like, okay, I don't care. So he is like, you know that everything that I could charge you for could lead up to $600 in fines. And I was like, what? And he's like, and I could tow your car. What? What do you mean you could tow my car? Like, when he said this, I lost my shit. I broke down. I was like, what? You cannot tow my car. This is the only transportation that I have. This is the only way that me and like everybody that I brought, like my coworkers and stuff, this is the only way we're gonna get back. And then if my parents know about this, they are going to fight me. They're gonna kick me out or something. Like, my parents are not gonna have this. And I start freaking out. I'm like, tow my car. And he's like, yeah, I could tow you. I could give you $600 in fines and tickets, and I could tow your car. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And then it just like, I started crying. Like, I didn't start crying in front of him because he was like, I'll be right back. And so he went back to his car to do I don't know what. And then I started crying. I was like, and it's hard because I did not want to cry in front of these kids, because then they were going to go home and they were going to tell their parents that I cried. And I tried and tried not to cry, but I was just freaking out, and it just came out. And so I called my supervisor, and he was not answering. So I called one of my coworkers, and I told them what happened, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna be right there. I'm gonna come up there. I keep trying to call my supervisor. I'm trying to call him. I'm trying to call him. Finally, he answers and I'm like, hey, I got pulled over and he's telling me that I could have $600 worth of tickets and fines and he can tow my car. And he's like, okay, hold on. We're going to be right there. We got another van. We'll be right there. So just hold on. And I was like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, this guy has me pulled me over and he is going to take my car. So I'm just like, okay, just hurry. He's like, okay, I hang up and I'm like, kids, oh my god, please. I tell them, I'm like, please do not tell your parents about this. Please do not tell your parents about this. And he comes back and he's like, okay, I need you to step out of the car. And I was like, he's taking my car. I was like, he's taking my car. This is it. Like, he's taking my car. I get out and we go and we stand behind the car and I'm sitting in my car hella pissed and he knows I'm pissed. He knows I'm nervous and he looks up at me and he laughs at me. And I'm like, what the fuck you laughing at? Like, and he just looks up at me, he laughs at me and I'm like, and I tell him, I'm like, I'm nervous, sir. I'm scared. Like, I've never been here before and I get pulled over and I tell him. And he's like, okay, calm down. And he's like, so this is what I'm going to charge you for. And I'm like, oh shit, here it goes. He's like, I'm going to let you go easy, okay? I'm only going to give you a citation for running the stop sign. And I was like, really? And he's like, yes, I'm only giving you the citation for running the stop sign just because this is your first time, you know, this is your first felony, whatever, first time doing anything wrong. I'm still pissed because I'm still getting a citation either way. So I'm like, okay. And then finally my supervisor gets here and I'm like, there's my supervisor, like, that's my supervisor. And he's like, he turns and he goes and he talks to him and I guess he tells him everything. Finally, my coworker gets here. While the officer is talking to the supervisor, I'm talking to her and I'm telling her everything that happened. And she's like, you know, just as baffled as I am. And I'm like, I know, dude, like, fuck this shit. Like, I'm never driving again. The officer comes back and my supervisor comes back and he gives me the citation. He tells me to sign it. So I sign it and he's like, okay, have a good day. And I'm like, you can go fuck yourself. Like, I'm not gonna have a good day after this. So he leaves and my supervisor comes up to me and he's just laughing. He's like, why didn't you stop? And I was like, I don't know why. Like, why are you asking me this? Like, what is wrong with you? I'm over here having a mental breakdown and you come over here laughing, asking me why I didn't stop. Like, why didn't you have the proper stuff to fix your damn van so this would have never happened? I was heated. And so he had charged me. No, it wasn't for running the stop sign. It was for not getting a parking pass. A $5 parking pass. That's what he charged me for. So I was like, well, I guess we should go get these stupid parking passes. We all get in the car and I go and I drop the kids off and I come back up with a coworker of mine and I think 3 of my coworkers. We come back up and the office is closed. Where we are supposed to get the parking pass, the office is closed. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how do you expect me to get a parking pass if the fucking place is closed? What the fuck? Like, I am heated right now. I'm like, when these people don't even know what the fuck they've done. I was just so heated. We finally were just like, I don't know what to do. Like, this place isn't open. The fucking park ranger that fucking pulled me over comes back and he's like, are you guys okay? I'm like, yes, we're okay. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get away from me. Like, if you don't leave, I'm not gonna be okay. Like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, I'm so mad. So he's like, okay, like, because I'm telling him, and he knows I have an attitude. I have an attitude right now. And I'm like, yeah, we're fine. And he's like, okay, just making sure. And I'm like, hey, fuck you. Like, get out of here. I don't want to see your ugly ass face ever again. He leaves, and then we're just like, fuck it. Like, if he wants to give me another fucking citation for not getting a parking pass, then he can fucking do it. So we just go back down and, you know, my other coworkers are like, what happened? And, you know, I have to tell them everything. It was just ruined. It was not a good day. I got a freaking $84 citation and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? An $84 citation for not paying a $5 parking pass. He could have just told me to go get the pass. Like, how does he know that I wasn't gonna go get it? How does he know that? Like, I was just entering the park. Like, I could have easily parked and got a parking pass. And no, he gave me I mean, thank God that's all he cited me for, was just the parking pass. But, you know, he was telling me, he's like, I could have given you $600 in tickets, and I could have towed your car and all this stuff. And I was like, I got really lucky. I got really lucky. And, you know, all the tickets and stuff that he was saying he was going to charge me for were completely stupid. I mean, one was completely dumb, okay? So he was going to charge me for running the stop sign, not getting a parking pass, having too many kids in the car, and then for my license. The license, when he was telling me this, I was like, what do you mean my license? And he's like, you don't have the proper license to be driving by yourself. I was like, what do you mean? I'm like, this is the license that you use to drive by yourself. And he's like, no, you have to have somebody older than 21 to drive with you. What the fuck? No, I don't. I was like, that's a permit. I tell him, like, this is a provisional. A provisional is when you can drive alone whenever you want. You just have to drive through certain times of the day. Like, you can't drive from like midnight to like 5 in the morning or some shit. I don't really know. You can't drive from certain times. And he's like, no, you have the one where you have to have an adult be with you. And I'm like, sir, I'm 18 years old. I'm like, I can drive by myself with this permit. He didn't know shit. He was gonna charge me for that shit. And he didn't, thank God, but he was going to charge me for it. And it pissed me off. And I was like, you don't know shit. You're a park ranger. You ain't shit. Like, this is all you do. Like, you're not fucking going out and, like, doing what the real police do. Like, no, you're just fucking stopping people for not getting parking passes. Like, you ain't shit. Get the fuck out of my face. Like, I'm pissed right now. When he told me about my license, I was like, I have the right license. Like, you're fucking stupid. Like, go back to your little park ranger school and maybe they'll tell you what the different licenses mean. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I was just so pissed. Finally, you know, that's all he gave me was an $84 ticket. And I paid for it. I was like, I don't care. Like, I'll fucking pay for it. Like, honestly, I don't give a fuck anymore about this shit. So I paid for it, and it was just so traumatizing because he told me he was going to tow my car. And I was like, you better not fucking tow my car. Like, and these kids, you know, I had these kids in my car with me, and they all saw me have a mental breakdown. And I told them not to go tell their parents, and they still went and told their parents. And I was just like, thanks, kids. Like, thanks a fucking lot. And they all told their parents, and I was just like, shit happens. Shouldn't have happened, but it did. And the place where we worked didn't do shit about it. They didn't reimburse me for anything. Like, I had to go back and forth using my gas to pick up these kids, and they didn't even pay me back for it. Like, they didn't pay me back for the gas, and they didn't pay me for the ticket. They didn't pay me for shit. And I was like, you can go fuck yourself. But I will probably still work for them in the summer because it's a really easy job. So, moral of the story, do not run stop signs, and do not have too many kids in the car, and do not forget that there's a fucking park ranger behind you. So there you go. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe right here and watch last week's video right here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Peace.